Frank Scilupo is in Washington. He's a CBS News security consultant and director of the George Washington University Center for Cyber and Homeland Security. Frank, what do you make of the timing of this explosion? It happened while Vladimir Putin was in town meeting with Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko. What does that tell you?
Terrorism, on top of everything else it is, and in addition to the death and destruction it brings to innocent civilians, is a psychological weapon intending to erode trust and undermine confidence in governments, their leaders, their institutions. So symbolically, it could be important here, where it signals not only a loud and clear, albeit a grotesque and deadly message directly to the leader of Russia.
And,
so possible.
A spokesman for Russia's top anti-terror agency says law enforcement agents may have found and defused another explosive device at a second subway station. Does that lead you to believe that this is in fact a planned and coordinated terror attack?
Absolutely. I mean, while we don't have all the details here, this has all the hallmarks of a terrorist attack. Russia has been in the crosshairs of Islamist and Chechen separatist forms of terrorism for a number of years. I think another clear indicator is the fact that the improvised explosive device also used shrapnel, which is intended to maximize destruction, death, and chaos. So I think clearly we're dealing with a terrorist incident here. While Russia has a big organized crime and corruption problem, they tend to be very discriminate in their attacks, and as we know, the Russians are masters in terms of assassination. So this has all the indications of a terrorist attack, yes.
So all the indications of a terror attack, and yet no one has claimed responsibility. At the same time, I can imagine it would be easy to develop a list of who might be responsible. Who do you think is on that list?
You know, historically, Russia's had a huge challenge and it faced a number of terrorist incidents coming from the Caucasus, from separatists out of the Caucasus. Although they tend to claim responsibility, and many of the previous incidents had included suicide or homicide bombers. So I think in this case, you might be seeing something that could, of course, be led out of the Caucasus. But what most people don't know is that in Syria and Iraq right now, fighting alongside ISIS, are about 5,000 Russian foreign fighters. In fact, Europol recently stated that about 8% of all the foreign fighters fighting in Syria and Iraq have Russian passports. So you could be seeing something that's directly related to some of the challenges they've had in the Caucasus. Dagestan is getting really hot, and you're seeing so much more chatter in their internet jihadi propaganda. Or you could have someone who had fought overseas and came back and unfortunately had some of the expertise to initiate in terrorism. So the list is long, but I do think that the hallmarks are here for Islamist terrorism.
The list is long, but fortunately, thanks to the work of Russian counter-terror agents, the number of bombings today stands at 1 and not 2. So
exactly.
Frank Scilupo, CBS News national security and international security consultant, thank you very much.
Thank you, Tony.